You're listening to the Dre Area Sports Show, live on YouTube and X. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
So I wanted to bring up this little stat here that I found over on it's more of a top 10 that I found over on X. This talks about the top 10 NFL offensive play callers in the league, and I wanted to run this by you guys to see how you guys felt about this top 10 list. Kyle Shanahan is number one, and this is courtesy of Pro Football and Sports Network. Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Ben Johnson, Kevin O'Connell, Matt LaFleur, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Todd Monken, Mike McDaniel, and Joe Brady. What did you guys think about this list? Do you think Kyle Shanahan is the top NFL offensive play caller in the league? Dylan, let's start with you.
Absolutely, I do. I might be biased, but I think he's the best in the game. He comes up with the most unique plays. I think what he does is amazing. I have no reason to believe that he's not the top play caller. It kind of goes back to what I was talking about. When we talked about Bob Melvin, he can put the greatest plays in the works, and if the players don't execute, they don't execute. If Debo drops that ball on wide open over the middle when he could have scored a touchdown, that's not Kyle Shanahan's fault. He put it into action. They just didn't execute. I see no reason to see or believe that he's not number one. I think you could kind of shuffle around like the top 5 or 6 on this list in any order you want. They're all elite. But it might be the bias in me, but Shanahan number one all day, son.
I think I agree with you, Dylan. But here's the thing that has been bothering me about Kyle Shanahan for the last couple of years. He is the top play caller in the NFL. I think Ben Johnson might be a close second, at least from what I saw last year. But Kyle Shanahan, he needs to put more focus and emphasis into the rest of his job. And I have had struggles watching him as far as how he manages his defense. And I know that he has a defensive coordinator that's supposed to do everything, but he needs to be more focused on his whole team, including special teams, which Dre and I have been talking about for the last several years. Special teams was the reason why we didn't make the playoffs last year, and probably was the reason why we didn't win the Super Bowl. Okay. I know that there were a lot of other reasons why we lost that game in Vegas, but part of it had to do with our special teams, and he does need to focus more on other areas. So I'm okay with him taking a little bit of a step back from the offensive play calling, which I know he doesn't want to do. But he needs to be more aware of what's going on with his team this year, because they have, not only do they have the easiest schedule in football, but they have an opportunity with the roster that they have brought back, and with Brock Purdy, with his newfound confidence that he should have with his new contract, to be at least a 12 or 13 win team. Are you going to be able to keep your focus enough to be able to see the small little things that are going wrong with your team as you go into the postseason, and not just be so uber focused on the play calling, which I know is important to him?
Well, I think that was the most important part about getting a guy like Robert Saleh as your defensive coordinator. Now he doesn't have to worry about trying to focus on too much time on the defense. I think he was doing that a lot with Nick Sorensen. I think he did that the previous year as well. I think he kind of kept his eye on the defense, see what they were doing. I mean, we saw him take that defensive timeout in the Super Bowl because he was kind of saying, hey, the fuck are we doing here? Like, you're not stopping this guy. You're not stopping the Chiefs' offense. So I think that getting Robert Saleh is a guy he trusts, is a guy who's overqualified to be the defensive coordinator, and it's going to allow the freedom of Shanahan to really just invest his time into crafting and play calling for the Niners offense.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's going to be 2021 all over again, when we were like the best team in the league, we're the best offense in the league. Was that 2021? When was that?
It was 2022, I believe.
2022?
Yeah, because 2021 was the year coming off of the Super Bowl in Miami, and that was
when everything went to shit,
year,
right?
When it all went to shit. Yeah, but the year after. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The point remains, right? Like, that was when Robert Saleh was here. The coaches love him, the players love him, and they trust him to get the job done. And I like what you're saying. Hopefully Robert Saleh can kind of take that off of Shanahan, and he can focus on what he needs to focus on instead of being so spread out, so thin that he kind of, misses and makes mistakes every now and then. I am so excited for 49ers football. I've been talking baseball for so long. It's kind of hard to get my brain back into the football mindset, but this is like, dude, it's getting me so hyped up.
We're 50 days away from NFL kickoff. I can't believe we're that close.
It's coming close. And Dylan, I'm with you. I think this is going to be a really great season for this team. I think, number one, when Dre and I have talked about this, I don't know if you've heard us talk about it, but just not having those distractions with the holdouts, Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams last year. I mean, you couldn't have gotten off to a worse start to the season as far as the mindset. And then you had Brock Purdy, who was on the last year of a contract. And then you had Deebo Samuel, who was still kind of mouthing off and just didn't seem happy. We were also coming off probably the most gut-wrenching loss in 49ers history.
Yeah.
A game that they dominated on both sides of the ball against the Chiefs. Funny story, Dylan, I almost broke my hand. I was at an airport watching the end of that game in Arizona, and I literally punched the wall. I couldn't believe that we lost that game in overtime just because of how dominant we were on the line of scrimmage. I thought our offensive execution was great until the end of the game. And then Jake Moody and others, they stepped up, and we still ended up losing that game somehow, some way. So we were coming off all of that last year, right, Dylan? And then we had all of those distractions coming into the season. And you could tell in that first game against the Jets, they were discombobulated. Even though they won the game, they just didn't look right. And they carried that into the rest of the season where they were undisciplined. How many games did they lose that they should have won? That Rams game in LA, the Arizona game at home,
the
Rams games at home, the Seahawks game at home where Geno Smith took them down the field. That's 4 games that they should have won.
Yeah.
And that team, they should have at least made the playoffs. So going into this year, Dylan, I think this is going to be a really special season for this team. And on top of all that, where's the Super Bowl? Super Bowl's in our house this year.
And they have the easiest schedule for any top team. They have the easiest schedule. And so they really need to take advantage of this easier schedule. There are some teams on there that I think will surprise the Niners in terms of how they've improved over this past offseason. But with this easier schedule, we're not seeing teams like the Bills, the Packers, the Cowboys. We're not seeing these teams that have always been, competitive teams. I mean, this past season, we saw all those teams, including the Chiefs. It's kind of like the Lions. We don't see any of those guys, and that's huge for San Francisco in getting this new defensive line, getting these new pieces in place. Mykel Williams, Bryce Huff. I think those guys are going to make a huge difference on the defensive line. Not to mention C.J. West and Alfred Collins, who's still unsigned. I don't know why they haven't signed him yet. It's kind of bothering me, but still. And when it comes to offensive play calling, I feel very confident that Shanahan will call the right play. And last season, we saw a lot of those plays didn't work out the way they wanted to because they didn't have Christian McCaffrey. And I think Christian McCaffrey is the biggest thing to come back to San Francisco, what we didn't have last season. A healthy Christian McCaffrey, I mean, that offense is basically designed to have Christian McCaffrey in there, and not having him last season really hurt their offense all the way around. Dylan, let me ask you, are you excited to see Christian McCaffrey back on the field for San Francisco?
Yeah. I think I'm pretty excited to see the best player in football come back to the field. But if Grant Cohn has anything to say about it, he looks slow and he looks washed, so we shouldn't get our expectations up.
No second gear.
I think Grant Cohn looks slow on his content right now.
Dude, he looks old and washed up, I tell you what. Yeah. But again, what he's doing is smart. He knows what he's doing, whatever. We're not going to talk too much about that guy.
The Dre Area Sports Show is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code DreArea Sports to save $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. And we are also brought to you by Taryn Roy, the SEO Optimizer. If you're looking to boost your YouTube channel, then check out the SEO Optimizer. Use promo code DreArea Sports to start your free trial today. PowerBrandSystems. If you're looking to build a website for your small business or YouTube channel, then check out PowerBrandSystems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase at PowerBrandSystems.